Hey guys, this is Ronda Shirley, licensed marriage and family therapist here in the Central Georgia area who helps you to manage to your fears so that you can live a 4P lifestyle filled with peace, passion, pleasure, and oh my God, purpose. So check this out. I always introduce that as my pitch, right? Helping you to manage to your fears. But I never really took the time to discuss the presence of the fears. So I imagine you're probably saying, I don't got no fears. And I'm going to say, everybody got a fear, right? So the fears that I want us to focus on are the fears that we have about our relationships. And based on those fears, how we create these self-sabotaging behaviors and ways to avoid doing that, right? Sound like something you into? How about you do this? Like and follow for more. All right, now, until next time. So, I told you about how we was going to talk about these fears that create self-sabotage in our relationships and ways to avoid them, right? So, get your pencil. Here's number 10. Number 10 is the fear of growing apart, right? So often we have these fears that we are outgrowing the relationship or that we're being left. And oftentimes what that will do is create these self-sabotaging movements where we automatically looking for red flag articles and reasons why we should leave. Well, here's a solution on that. Number 1, stop it. Okay. Number 2 on that is find a common enemy. I know, right? Exactly. Find a common enemy. Well, Ronda, why do we need to find a common enemy? So glad you asked. See, when you got a common enemy, what it does is it creates some mutual interest. And not only does it create a mutual interest, it's an opportunity for you guys to become a team, work together, and defeat it. Right? So I'm not advocating gang banging or that kind of stuff. Not at all. A common enemy can be reducing debt. A common enemy can be redecorating your living room. A common enemy can be losing weight. And the list goes on. Right? So, if you have the fear of growing apart in your relationship, don't engage in these negative fear-based behaviors. Do number 10 and find a common enemy. Like that? Hey, hang out. I got 9 more for you. All right, until next time. So check this out. I'm doing a series on how to manage to your fears so that you don't do these self-sabotaging behaviors in your relationships. So here's tip number 9. When you have this fear of being taken advantage of, do this instead. As opposed to operating in your fear, I am encouraging you to take the opportunity to apologize. I said it. Don't let the day go by without you aggressively looking to apologize. Like it? Cool. Come back. I got a few more for you. Until then. So, we are up to fear number 7. We are. These are the fears that create self-sabotaging behaviors which can cause division in our relationships. So fear number 7 is when we feel that people are not living up to the potential that we see in them, right? And this is not something that is limited to romantic relationships. Nah, this fear goes across the board. So you can see it, of course, in romantic relationships, but you can see it between siblings, parents, children, bosses, employees, the list goes on, right? Let me offer you this, if I may. People get to choose how they want to be, right? People get to change their minds. So even if someone said, but you said you was going to do this, you said you were going to be that, and so they get to change their minds. So people get to be not what we feel they should be. They get to be who they want to be. Right? All right now. So if you are interested in getting the rest of the tips on how to avoid your fears sabotaging your relationships, please like and follow. Until next time. So, we are up to fear number 7. We are. These are the fears that create self-sabotaging behaviors which can cause division in our relationships. So fear number 7 is when we feel that people are not living up to the potential that we see in them. Right? And this is not something that is limited to romantic relationships. Nah, this fear goes across the board. So you can see it, of course, in romantic relationships, but you can see it between siblings, parents, children, bosses, employees. The list goes on, right? Let me offer you this, if I may. People get to choose how they want to be, right? People get to change their minds. So even if someone said, but you said you was going to do this, you said you were going to be that, and so they get to change their minds. So people get to be not what we feel they should be. They get to be who they want to be, right? All right now, so if you are interested in getting the rest of the tips on how to avoid your fears sabotaging your relationships, please like and follow. Until next time. So, this is fear number 6 that we engage in that can create self-sabotaging behaviors. Okay? Fear number 6 is the fear that we're never going to get what we deserve and what we put out into relationships. Sounds familiar? So, here is the way to avoid that fear taking over and having you to engage in these various behaviors that are self-sabotaging. And that is this. Go ahead and take the golden rule and scrap it, right? As opposed to doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, instead state your needs. And when you state your needs, provide an audience for the person that you're in a relationship to state theirs. And you give it to them exactly how they asked for it, right? Give it to them exactly how they asked. Because what happens is, if you engage in the platinum rule, right? The platinum rule generally gives you a better outcome than the golden rule. So what's the difference? Glad you asked. The golden rule is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. The platinum rule is do unto others as they ask to be done. Platinum rule begets other platinum rules, which creates an opportunity for you to be happy, and not just be happy, but to author and create happiness, right? Sounds good? Awesome. There's more where that came from. Like and follow so you don't miss, okay? Until next time. Right? So check this out. If you've been watching, you know that what I've been doing is dissecting the top 10 fears that we have that create these self-sabotaging behaviors within our relationships. If you haven't, no worries. It's all cool because, as you know, they're recorded. So just go back and hear them back at your leisure. However, if you have been watching, then you know that we are on number 5. And the 5th fear that we have that creates self-sabotaging behaviors in our relationships is the fear that we're going to lose that spark. I know, right? Again, this is one of these things that is generally connected to romantic relationships. But the truth of the matter is, this can go across the board as well. It can be a matter of, I don't want to pledge. Because I don't know, I think I'll get bored. I don't want to be in certain activities, i.e. with my religious organization. I don't want to do certain clubs or hobbies. Why? Because I don't want to get bored with people. And God knows I don't want to get bored with me. So then how do we avoid that? I'm so glad you asked. Here is how you avoid it. What you will do is you will take these times to operate in gratitude. Gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Because see, what you will do is, one of the things that we do when we're gracious is we compliment. We say thank you. We find ways to create rewards. We find reasons to reward, right? So the long and short of it is, the spark won't be gone. Why? Because you're going to be the spark. You get to be the spark. And in you being the spark, you can ensure that the flame will always stay there. Yeah, I know, right? Sounds interesting. Stay tuned for more. Until next time. So, the fear that keeps us in this space of self-sabotaging behaviors, number 4, is the fear of losing ourselves, right? So for those who have been single for a long time, for those who have been unconnected for a while, the idea of being in a relationship can be absolutely boot shaking. That kind of scary. Because we don't want to get lost. We've seen it, right? Everybody knows somebody who, when they started dating someone, when they took on a new job, when they reconnected with a friend, they just became absorbed in this process. That's all they talked about. That's all they did. They started changing how they move based on the people. We're all saying that. And we have decided, whatever we do, what we're not going to do is be them. Right? I get it. So the way to push back that fear is to have your own thing. Right? We can be connected and have our own thing. So our own thing could be something as simple as, we like looking at old episodes of Scandal. And that's our thing. We can have our own hobby. We can set a boundary that says, this is where you start, but this is where you end. We always have the power within our hands. So as long as you understand that, you can quiet those fears, particularly the fear of getting lost in a relationship. Okay? All right. Until next time. Bye. So we are up to the 3rd fear that creates self-sabotaging behaviors within our relationships. Fear number 3 is the fear of failure. Failure. There are many people who have never seen successful relationships, never seen people who have completely committed to a task and finished it. So as a result of these fears of failure, it makes them hesitant to connect or to become a part of a relationship. So what do we do with that, Rhonda? I'm glad you asked. The way to resolve that fear is a really, really, really simple solution. Listen. That's it. Listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to whatever is being asked of you. Listen to things that will promote you being successful. If you are about to get married, there are no married people that you know of, or the marriages that you see aren't successful. Listen to people who do have them. Listen for them, right? Listen. Because if you can listen, everything that you need to know will come directly your way. Okay? All right. Until next time. So, hey, check this out. We are on number 2 of the top 10 reasons that we have these fears, right? That create these self-sabotaging behaviors in our relationships, as well as ways to manage to them. Okay? So here is fear number 2. And this is more in alignment with romantic relationships, right? All the other fears are really crossover fears that hit all relationships: family, work, sibling, friendships, all of them. But now, this one is really, like I say, mainly for the romantic types of relationships. And that is, how will I prove to my mate that they're important to me, right? Because some of us have done such an amazing job of accomplishing these things, and we are doing amazing professionally. We have strong communities, amazing friendships, fabulous families. And sometimes it's like, on the outside looking in, there's no room for anyone else. So how do you let someone know that, yeah, you are willing to make room for them? This is what you do. You make them the VIP of your life. What does that look like? Glad you asked. So that looks like you making them a priority. You bring them into your life, right? Allow them to meet some of your friends. Let your family vet them. Let them vet your family. Just whatever is important to you, allow this person to be a part of that, right? Because that is how they know. They know that they're important to you because you have made a special effort to include them in all things that are important to you. Okay? All right now, until next time. So, we are at the number 1 of 10 fears that we have that create self-sabotaging behaviors in our relationships. I know, right? Yes, we are. So, are you ready for the number 1 fear? Drum roll, please. Boom. It is, I'm afraid to let anyone get too close to me because I don't want to get hurt. That is the one. That's how we come up with, we're private, you know. I don't tell everybody my business, you know. I have acquaintances. All of these things are ways that we put walls and all kinds of fences around us to keep us protected. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. The way to avoid this fear, creating self-sabotaging behaviors, is to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Share your emotions, not just your power emotion of anger. No. Show your emotions. Let people know when you're sad. Let people know when they hurt your feelings. Let people know when you have guilt, regret, right? Let them know that through the form of an apology. And most importantly of all, show them love. And those are the top 10 fears that create self-sabotaging behaviors within our relationships. I would love to hear your thoughts about what you thought about this. If you found it helpful, if you were in disagreement, whatever, is all good. But yeah, until next time.